What's up, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Muckraker. My name's Michelle. Today is May 22nd of 2023, and in today's Gotion News Roundup, I have just a few things to share with you that are important, some interesting, and I'm going to start with the most important thing first, which is the rally. Actually, two rallies tomorrow. The first one is going to be at Rosa Parks Circle on Monroe Center in Grand Rapids, and it's going to start at 1 p.m. Well, actually, arrival time is 1 p.m., and the rally starts at 1:30. This is going to be around the Right Place and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, both of which are responsible for the Gotion project and are both not listening to what we, the people, are saying. We are going to do a Jericho walk around the Right Place's office block at 2 p.m. And I had no idea what a Jericho walk was until I read the term on Keep Michigan Peer's Facebook page. And so I thought I'd share with you that a Jericho walk began over 3,000 years ago with a group of God's children holding an intentional, God-led prayer walk around the walls of Jericho to defeat their enemy. Join us as we will walk and pray to defeat our enemy who tries to mire us in self-doubt, self-pity, selfishness, arrogance, and other strongholds. So I thought that was really cool. I learned something new, and it's 9:30, so it's a good day already. And that sounds absolutely perfect because that's exactly what they're trying to do, is mire us in self-doubt and self-pity. So we need to fight against that. So a Jericho walk is perfect. And that's going to be, again, around the Right Place's office block. I'm going to show you a picture of where it's at in just a second on the Google Maps. 3 p.m., depart from Rosa Parks Circle, and carpooling is encouraged. Use the Monroe Center parking ramp or the Pearl Street parking ramp. The second rally is in Big Rapids on the east side of Northland Drive, just south of 19 Mile, from 3:30 to 5:30. And again, this is tomorrow, Tuesday, May 23rd. It says to park in Big Rapids location in Volker's back parking lot. And we'll be standing in front of Volker's and the GTW welding. So I'm going to switch over. Thank you guys for joining me, by the way. If you like this kind of content, smash the like, hit subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to show you Rosa Parks Circle in downtown Grand Rapids. And I'll zoom out so you can see Grand Rapids. And it says 135 Monroe Center Street, Northwest, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 49503 if you want to hit that into your GPS. And then the second location, so again, 1 o'clock, meet up at Rosa Parks Circle. The second location is going to be at the Volker Bros Equipment in Big Rapids. Zoom out. And you can see you're going probably maybe an hour. I'm not quite sure. It's about 47 minutes from my location. So, yep, going to Grand Rapids all the way up here to Big Rapids. Zoom back in. And again, you're going to park in the back parking lot of 18780 Northland Drive, Big Rapids, Michigan. So I'm going to try to make it, but I am extremely busy, and muckraking is very important to me, but I'm a caretaker first. So anyway, I hope to see you there. If not, I hope that it's a huge rally and that you have every success with your Jericho walk. And I appreciate every single one of you for everything that you do. Keep fighting the good fight, okay? Now, I wanted to announce I will be on Turn the Page with Janie tonight at 6 o'clock. Now, I don't think that hers is live, so whenever that drops, I'll let you guys know. And I will also be on Red Pill News, both on Rumble. Red Pill News on Saturday from 9 to 11 p.m. That will be live. So maybe I will see you over at Red Pill News on Saturday. That would be kind of cool. Thank you both Turn the Page with Janie and Red Pill for inviting me on their shows. I really appreciate them and the people that got us connected. So thank you guys. All right. I'm going to show you a 52-second video really quick about what we're fighting for. This is the land that they are trying to destroy to put Gotion on. I don't know if the music is necessary, but it's nice. But look at this. This is beautiful forest. You can't get more green than this, right? And this is what we're going to destroy in the name of progress for 2,000 jobs. Michigan is one of the most beautiful states I've been to. I've been to several and lived in several. And it says, the last time I shared this video of the land that will be destroyed by Gotion, someone commented that we are just spreading fear. So that's what we're dealing with here. The truth is spreading fear. Well, you know, maybe we shouldn't destroy this. Something interesting I found that I wanted to share with you guys is the Right Place, Grand Rapids, Michigan, nonprofit tax information. So this is public, of course. I don't have any special privileges anywhere. And so I thought it would be interesting to share 2018, 9 million. And you could see, I think Bill Pink, yes, is the director right here in 2019. It doesn't say he's making any money. But the president CEO made $491,000. And of course, there's no Randy Thelen yet. But I just wanted to show 9 mil, and then down here, or rather up here, in 2019, they made $8,469,000. And again, no Randy Thelen, but Bill Pink is here. You don't see him, but he's still director position. If you click the see filings for 25 more, which I'll have this link down in the description so you can look at everything for yourself. If you want to dive deep, I just found this last night, so I just thought it was very interesting. 2019, they made $8 million, and then you scroll up here. In 2020, they doubled their revenue. Now, isn't that strange? The year the Great Reset started, the year that Randy Thelen got picked up, although he's not on the payroll yet, it still says the president, $548,000, $500,000 he makes. But yeah, doubled the revenue while small businesses were being shut down. I mean, maybe that was more in 2021. The time just blurs. But I know that the Great Reset started in 2020 and that it's very curious that they doubled their revenue the same year. Now, 2021, $466,000 a year, Randy Thelen, CEO. And that is from the third month, so that's maybe why it's a little bit less. It started in March. I had to think about it. March to the present. So $466,000 is how much Randy Thelen made. And you don't see the total revenue here. But you come over here and this says the year end of 2021. Whoops, this one. And total assets, 11 mil in 2021 versus 9 mil. And you scroll down here and it says private support net of change and allowance on pledges and discounts, including in-kind contributions of $38,134. So without donor restriction, $41,000 was given to the Right Place by private support, and with donor restriction, $3,440,000. I do not know. I have to do research again. I just found this, so I'm going to dive more into it, but I wanted to share it right away, especially since tomorrow we will be protesting at the Right Place. So more information is always better. Yep, government grants, $1 million. So they definitely get more from private support. And I wish I could see exactly who gave $3 million. So I'll leave this down in the description, and if you are a tax person who can dive into this and maybe find something suspicious or interesting, then let me know. Hit it up in the comments down below. I really appreciate it. I am going to keep digging in here and see what I can find myself. I'm not familiar with taxes, but I can get familiar. On the internet, you can learn anything. So, next up, request answers from EGLE on Gotion Deal's environmental concerns. This was May 18th, 2023. This is the Republicans. They are, again, working with the grassroots. It's a grassroots movement to start it out, and the Republicans are listening and trying to help in the way Republicans do. Legislators request answers from EGLE on Gotion's environmental concerns. Okay, a group of state, Senate, and House Republican leaders on Thursday sent a letter to Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, Acting Director Aaron Keatley, requesting the agency make public all the documents detailing the environmental impacts of the Gotion Battery Plant project near Big Rapids. Many important environmental concerns and questions have been raised and gone unanswered as this divisive project bulldozes forward. We feel strongly, especially given the millions of dollars in taxpayer-funded incentives being thrown at this development, that it is necessary and overdue for EGLE to start providing answers to those questions, said Senate Republican leader Nesbitt of Porter Township. The letter states, with all of these concerns continuing to grow, especially among the local residents who will be most impacted by the effects and consequences of this project, it is all the more necessary for your department to publicly provide all of the documents detailing the environmental impacts of this project. These documents should detail the daily massive water withdrawals that will occur from local watersheds, the geotechnical evaluation, and any other reviews or assessments that have been conducted by the local, state, or federal governments. So this is their official request. If that means anything to this government, I don't know. Along the same vein right here, this article from the Center Square, Scott McClellan, doing a great job covering it, in my opinion. This came out May 19th. Michigan lawmakers call for Gotion's environmental report. 8 Republican lawmakers signed a letter sent to EGLE. Several requests for an environmental impact study have been made with no real response from state regulators, the letter says. Furthermore, Gotion Inc. representatives have admitted in open hearings that the facility will be withdrawing approximately 715,000 gallons of water, Michigan groundwater, per day, far exceeding the Nestle company's withdrawal rate for their bottled water operation. 715,000 gallons of Michigan groundwater per day. And no vote and no environmental impact report. How corrupt. Right in the open, too. Wide open. Let's see. Nisbet of Porter Township, Matt Hall of Richland Township, Roger Hawk of Mount Pleasant, Kunze of Clare, Laurels of Brockway Township, Besson of Bangor Township. See, this is why I should not name names. Thies of Brighton, and Rigas of Caledonia signed the letter, noting that in 2018, Governor Gretchen Whitmer said that the Nestle wasn't fairly compensating the public for the company's water usage. And yeah, Gotion definitely won't be either. We can only assume those previous concerns of the governor are heightened when the amount of water being withdrawn is greater, and hardworking taxpayers have already committed $715 million to this project, the letter says. The Gotion factory is a flashpoint to Michigan residents. Many people oppose the possible 30-year tax break given to Gotion while local small businesses pay taxes. A local horse farm owner also opposes the plant because of environmental concerns. With all of the concerns continuing to grow, especially among the local residents, who will be most impacted? Okay, I'm sorry, I read that in the other one. The Center Square has filed records requests seeking the environmental impact report with EGLE, but the agency didn't respond, of course. The Center Square also has filed for the documents from the MEDC Corporation. I don't know, it was like $16,000. for all of the documents from the MEDC. I don't know how much they spent, but any information that can be revealed, obviously we appreciate it. So thank you, Center Square. This just came out. Oh no, I'm sorry. This came out October 17th, 2022. Is Big Rapids big enough for Project Elephant? You know, I can't click on this because I'll need to pay. As Gotion Inc. plans to build a massive electric vehicle battery plant, locals agree there will be strong demand for the high-tech, high-wage jobs it would create, but some questions whether the city of 8,000 has the ready-made automotive workforce to support it. All 3 studies found a major potential labor force within 45 miles of the site. Okay. So this was back then. They were asking if it's big enough. Obviously now they don't care. They're putting it in. But we're still going to work on stopping them. The last thing I want to share with you, I just saw this morning, so I have not watched the video yet, so we're going to watch it together. This is from Justin Barclay. Doing a great job, also keeping up with the Gotion news and doing interviews. He has the platform for it, and I appreciate that he is shedding light on this topic. Obviously, every Michigander needs to know about it. $715 million. And a total of like 1.1 billion. Oh, you know what? Real quick, there is one more thing I need to share. I forgot to share at the very beginning. May 27th, which is this Saturday, there is a rally at the Majestic Frisian Horse Farm from 1 to 5. It's a tractor rally. And I should have said at the beginning, and I apologize, but I hope that you guys can make that rally as well. There's going to be tons of rallies this summer. I can feel it, and I'm proud of my community for fighting against Goliath. And the more Davids we have, the better. So, I'm not going to waste any more time, but here's Justin Barclay's interview with the woman that I had on my last Gotion Roundup, the CCP reporter. She doesn't work for the CCP any longer, obviously, because she's talking to Justin Barclay in America.
It's News Radio 1300 and 106.9 FM, a Friday and a very special show for today. No phones, no free-for-all, but we are jam-packed with, I think, stories and conversations you're going to want to hear. Coming up, you're going to hear more about what the WHO is up to. The who? Yes, the WHO. And why we must stop them if we want to continue as a free people in a free country. How you can take those steps on the way. But first, the threat that's right in our own backyard as we speak. The Communist Chinese Party-linked battery company that wants to open up a plant, 500 acres, pure Michigan farmland in the middle of the state, Mecosta County near Big Rapids. We're going to talk to somebody. In fact, she'll talk about some of the dangers the Chinese Communist Party, what we're facing here, and how we can fight back. Get ready to take some notes, because this one is going to be jam-packed. Ava Chen joins us now. Ava, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And I don't even know where we start, but we saw this week, obviously, very important news. We have the Durham report. Last week, it was how much the Biden family and that administration seems to be under the influence of all sorts of different foreign adversaries and governments, particularly the Communist Chinese Party. But also want to talk about what we're seeing happen right here in Michigan as we have this electric vehicle battery plant. So first of all, thank you and welcome in. Let's get your background so people can understand where you're coming from. You actually came here a couple of decades ago. When did you come to America?
Almost 2 decades ago. I came to Canada. I came here actually for studying. I was one of those international foreign students, came to the West, and I was attracted by the openness, because in China, when you go to university, the university is enclosed by walls.
Here in Michigan with this battery plant, but one of the things I found is that most in America now, and there's a lot of the younger generation particularly, that this communism or the Chinese Communist Party, when you say it like that, it's not necessarily a bad word. It's that they don't really necessarily understand what it is,
because they don't know history.
What it means, the history, as you put it so rightly, the evil behind it. Can you help paint that picture?
Absolutely. So the communism actually started in Russia. Okay, so this is not coming from China, but unfortunately, Vitamin Lenin established a very small communist intern chapter in Shanghai back in 1921, and that's where evil started. And they seized and subverted the legitimate government in China at that time, which is ruled by Kuomintang Party. And then, uh, within the 27 8 years, they successfully subvert the legitimate government and then stole the entire nation. So since 2049, under the Chinese Communist Party's ruling, there's more than 400 million people. Actually, I can easily say that's probably number increased by 100 million extra for the last 3 years because of the virus and vaccine crisis. So I would easily to say 500 million Chinese people has been killed by
Mm.
this evil totalitarian regime. So
Jeez.
that's a harsh reality. People don't
It's
understand what's communism. I really suggest them to look at the history because history
so
always
sad.
repeats when you're not informed, when you're not holding history as a mirror to reflect upon on what's happening right now. And this communism takeover, as you just said, is in action on full display. And this is, I'm hoping by going through this time, this show with you, that help people to understand that the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, is the biggest enemy of all human race.
This is
Wow.
unfathomable for a lot of people to understand
I mean,
evil
I
at
knew
this
that, but
level and at this
yeah.
scale. What makes that evil possible?
I think it's coming from the seven deadly sin of human being. So, and communism, it's really evil. So they're really good at explore those human flaws. So one of the highly classified intel that shared by the Mile School in 2017 on October 5th. One of the plan is called BGY plan, and I hope every single American understands that plan. So, and I would take some time to explain how that plan works on human. So, if human beings are their target, so they need to work on you, just like Xi's word. The United Front work, it's a strategy for Xi to take over the entire world. That's United Front work department that she refers to as a magic weapon. So when she talks about this United Front work department, she refers to this is a work of a human being. So this is related to what Miles Gore shared with BGY, because BGY is a tool to corrupt, to take down every human being. So B
Hmm.
stands for blue. It's a color, basically stands for blue. Blue covers array of technology related tactics. For example, they're going to hacking you. So
Hmm.
when CCP identify their target of espionage or the target they wanted to bring down, they first wanted to get to know you. So how do they get to know you? They always hacking you, they always surveillance you, they always tapping you, and they always checking to see what are the website you go in.
And real quick, the only way that this is possible is through 5G, okay? It's through the Internet of Things. Because that 5G is necessary for every camera that's doing facial recognition to talk to each other. And China has 5G, and it was rolled out in 2019, October, I believe, of 2019, in Wuhan, was the first area that 5G was completely rolled out. Just something to think about. Um, but I'll let her get back to it.
Social media manipulation, and so they put you in a bubble, so they actually knowing you, who you're talking to, how long you're talking to, what's your trouble, what's your problem encounter in life, so they know you better than you, they even have your DNA. So technology related.
And I'm sorry, do you know how they have your DNA? Obviously, there's several different ways. Ancestry.com, people volunteered to give their DNA up. What is the other one? 123 and Me or something. I should know them. I don't. I've never done any of them. And then another way is those swabs that they've been doing, and they still do. It's to this day. They still do swabs at certain locations. It's crazy.
Tactics, getting information out of you, it's under the B, blue. Okay, hacking, surveillance. And G stands for gold. So gold stands for financial reward, bribery. Okay, they wanted to buy you. They gave you a steak. They give you a sugar can that really sweet and really sweet, and so you fall for that. And then the last one is called Y, stands for a color yellow. So yellow means sexual bride. So if you like underage girl, they're there. If you like men, they're there. So these are called BGY. So I think people would the G and tricks that people can relate it, but the B is really unprecedented because with today's technology advancement, the damage that the CCP can do to individual and to organization is unbelievable. Okay, so for example, the B, they also not only targeting individual, they also targeting organizations, and I'm talking about powerful, powerful organizations. One of them being your federal department. And remember, back in I think
And Whitmer,
2014, the CCP
our
hacked into
Michigan government.
your federal personnel records. They stolen 21 million of federal employees' records. That's including their financial records, personal sensitive information, even including your CIA employees. Like they stolen all of them. And also the other one is they actually hacking nonstop Twitter. All those big tech. Why those big tech are becoming, CCP's helper? I think first of all is the gold part that's working. It's the money part, right? They give them money, they make them rich, and the second part is the B because they attacking them using hacking cyber attack. For example, in 2017, Mile School was starting whistleblowing and sending all those information revealing the crimes of the CCP on Twitter. And then in May, Twitter experienced unprecedented attack from the CCP. So basically they started a DDoS attack and brought down hundreds of servers in Twitter. So a lot of people at that time, not just Mile School, but a lot of people became the collateral damage. Okay, the CCP wanted to block people to accessing Mile School's Twitter, but thousands of other Twitter's users paid the price as well. So that attack lasted a week. So if CCP can actually targeting individuals and powerful organizations, they basically can break into everything on the world.
Real quick, the CCP, Xi Jinping in particular, has gone to the World Economic Forum several times, and the World Economic Forum has said that one of the top 3 or 5 threats are cyber attacks. And so it's all subterfuge. It's all hard to see who's doing what and why. But we have to understand that China is working with the World Economic Forum, and so is Build Back Better Biden. And so, again, this is all 5th generation warfare. Now, this is Michael Flynn's book. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him, but that doesn't mean that there isn't valuable information in here since he is a general. And 5th generation warfare is cyber attacks, technology, robo dogs, that kind of thing. So although you need to be skeptical of, you can't trust everything that Michael Flynn says in this book or any book on 5th generation warfare, it's really important to understand that this is a different kind of warfare. It's not going to be like World War I or II. This is World War III, and this is a tech war and a bio weapon war.
Existing in the world. So this is just a few examples illustrating how powerful the CCP is and how brazenly they can actually using the B tactics to attack the free world and individuals.
All right, there's another plan that I've seen or heard about as well. There's a 3F plan.
Yes, that's right. So 3F plan basically clearly states the goal of the Chinese Communist Party and also the means to get their goals. It's very broad, so people needs to understand the 3F, also shared by Mile School in 2017 on October 5th. The 3F plan stands for foment weakness of the United States, foment chaos of the United States, and foment the destruction of the United States. So I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially when you actually look, from now backwards, hindsight, when you're looking at your election, your a crisis at the border, or even fentanyl crisis, or even right now, the TikTok, the spy, the Biden family, the news, released by the GOP, Judiciary Oversight Committee, Rep. James Comer, all those things you can link to the CCP goes to their plan. The plan is really to use Americans to destroy American. That is why they have.
That is the only way that America can be destroyed, is we ourselves destroy it from within, and it's working. And obviously they're helping sow chaos with the fentanyl coming through and the border crisis and everything else, because there's a lot of Chinese, young Chinese men that are coming through the border as well. So there is a lot going on, but China has their own plans and they know how to destroy us. It's not going to be through regular war and their ships and stuff. Obviously, that wouldn't work. This is working and it's unfortunate, but if we are aware and that's the first step, then perhaps we can stop it.
They have planted their spies. They've recruited their informants, and also, most important, the American sellouts. So those people who has been engaged with China economically for last 5 decades or 4 decades, they are the target. So the CCP first are targeting them using the BGY and turning them to their assets.
We have here in Michigan, and I know you're a little familiar with this, but there's a company called Gotion, which is the American company. There's a Chinese company, this Chinese Communist Party linked, called Gotion High Tech, and that company inside owns this American arm. One of the things they want to do is they want to put a battery plant here in Michigan in the middle of the state. 500 acres of pure Michigan farmland. And the Michigan state government is going to use taxpayer dollars to fund that, to buy the farmland for this company. They're telling us, no, there's separation. There's no issue there. First of all, lots of folks see a national security issue. We just had the spy balloons flying overhead, and now we're going to put a company right in the middle of this 500 acres of farmland. Then the other issue is people see another big problem, that we have all the environmental concerns. This is right near all this fresh water, the drinking water here, the Lake Michigan. These are the documents. This is the Articles of Association for Gotion High Tech from July of 2022. And you don't have to go too far. Some people, well, maybe somebody missed this. Well, you don't have to go too far. This page 4, and it talks about Article 9. So maybe you can discuss how this works and how it works for most companies with the Chinese Communist Party, what the setup is. But it says the company shall set up a party organization and carry out party activities in accordance with the Constitution of the Communist Party of China. Company shall ensure necessary conditions for carrying out party activities. The secretary of the party committee shall be the chairman, yada, yada. Yet it goes through all this, and I don't think that American people really understand how the format is, how the companies work, how it works within the government. We just assume, and it's probably a bit of naivete, but we just assume that things work the way they work here. But that couldn't be further from the truth, could it?
Yeah. I'm very glad that you brought that topic, because that topic is huge. I can actually share, I can sit here and share with just on that topic alone, the broad scope of it, probably hours. I would be able to finish, but I wanted people to understand the concept of Trojan horse, right? We all know that. How does the Trojan horse work? But the other things you have to think about, the evilness and the long range planning that the CCP has been plotting. Because one of the basic core principle of communism, I don't think people understand. Communism, there's one core principle, is they do not believe private ownership.
Yes.
They said they're going to abolish, all the private ownership. So people has to understand that everything you see, what make American great is your freedom, your free capitalist, your free markets, free thinking people, right? But communism is anything but freedom. Okay, they want to abolish your private ownership, so they actually can steal them legitimately. Everything belongs to the nation, belongs to the country. But who owns the country? It's the 100 and 200 and several hundred kleptocrats, right? So it all becomes their personal property. So that's their lie and excuse to basically steal everything from you. But back to abolishing private the private ownership, that's the sad part. Okay, first of all, I'm going to talk about the CEOs and those American sellouts, those Wall Street and those business folks, because they don't understand what's communism. Okay, and then I would talk about politicians, why the politician, your state, the state that actually approved what they approved to allow the Gotion High Tech, which is basically linked to CCP and CCP military, to come into your beautiful countries and established a battery factory, because that's absolutely actually gonna have so let me first explain the business side things. So in the United Work From strategy, which I outlined for you, we also talk about Chairman Year, which he was dispatched by the military. He was given a title which called the CEO and chairman of the CEFC, China Energy Company, right? So,
Hmm.
but he was nobody. He didn't even trained in leadership or in business. Okay, he just came out of nowhere, and that is why I'm saying that he is a recruit. He's a spy to work on your target, and which the target was at that time was two actually. One is Biden family, the other one is actually United Nation. That's why United Nation becomes the United Nation we see today. Okay, the world becomes today is because of Chinese Communist Party. But I'm not going to go there. So there's a lot of Western
Wow.
business.
I love how she drops the UN because if you watched any of my videos, that the United Nations, they are the snake in the grass. And everybody thinks that it's just no big deal, that they're far off entity, but they sneak in and they're using Chinese tactics. And she's saying that it's because China is kind of taken over the UN. I don't know how true that is. There's obviously a partnership either way. And I think that the United Nations loves the way that China does state capitalism, is what they call it, which the state owns all means of production. Uh, it's because communism doesn't make money, so they let the money flow in. I'm actually going to do a video where I'm reading the Great Reset chapter on the Chinese capitalism. So what she's saying is so important to understand. I'm really glad that someone who has lived under communist rule is explaining, because I've read books and obviously I haven't lived through it, but you can get the perception of what's going on. But my books that I've read are from Russia, so that's obviously a different style than the Chinese communism that we see today. So I appreciate this woman and Justin Barclay. Definitely subscribe to his channel and listen to him on iHeartRadio if you don't
This
already.
person
He's
do
doing
not
good work.
understand because they were lied to. So 2 months ago, just at the end of March, I'm not sure whether you're aware of this, there is a high level economic forum. They call it Economic Summit that was held back in China. And they invited a number of familiar faces to the West. These are the CEOs. These are the Volkswagen, because you mentioned Volkswagen. Volkswagen CEOs was one of them among the attendee, but the others are Blackstone, Stephen Schwarzman, and Tim Cook. Pfizer CEO Albert Bola, if I remember his name correctly. Albert Bola was his
Yeah.
the person, one more, Dalio. Okay, Ray Dalio, people probably also familiar. He was a former CEO and chairman of the Bridgewater Associates, because
Wow.
all of them, yeah, all those people that I'm.
Yeah, Ray Dalio just came out with a book called like something the new change. I'm gonna look it up. But Ray Dalio, I've been watching his stuff. That's crazy that she just name dropped him as somebody that's captured.
Named, they have been in bed with the Chinese Communist Party
Huh.
for years.
Wow.
Okay, so and Larry Fink, we talk about Blackstone, BlackRock, they're all in
Wow.
this together, but Larry Fink didn't go. But these number of people that I mentioned, they all attended that summit, and they trying still to deceive the world and saying that China is ready for business. Okay, China's ended their COVID-19 lockdown. Now everything is, blooming. Please come to China. Please invest. Why? The same purpose as I just shared with you, the PCAOB. Okay, the American audit firms helped the CCP. They're in bed for years. How did they in bed for years? They came to the China, they entering China market for getting rich. Okay.
Yeah, real quick, I'm gonna show you this. There it is. Principles for dealing with the changing world order. Now, why nations succeed and fail? Because they are sold out by people like you, it sounds like, Ray Dalio.
Okay, earning the admirable profit or ROIs. However, CCP will not give you free a stake. Okay, they will always get something from you when you actually take time to eat your steak. So in 1993, because you mentioned the law, because I share with you another law, it's called Company Law of the PRC. In 1993, they asking every single foreign company that it came into China, including joint stock companies, to establish a party cell within the company. 3 people's membership. Okay. They want every single foreign companies has a CCP party cell. Remember when in the beginning of the show, I told you that Vladimir Lenin planted a CCP unit, 7 people unit in China in 1921. And after 27 years, they successfully took over China because that 7 people did a lot of damage and they multiply. It's like a cancerous cell. They multiply and grow in your body without you realizing it. And only after 27 years, they successfully subverted the previous legitimate government. This is again happening. So the CCP in 1993 already putting every single party cell in foreign company and joint stock. What they're doing BGY. And a lot of those companies who actually are the leaders of that party cell, they're either beautiful women or handsome boys. Guess who they're after? Remember the BGY tactics that I mentioned to you? They're surveillance you. Once they are in your company, they get to your information, they get to your clients, they get to your network, they see everything, and they report to this United Work From strategy. This is why she calling this United Work strategy a magic weapon. You need to understand their weapon. Because we have a very famous Asian general called Sun's Art of War. He's the author of the Art of War. He said, once you understand yourself, your enemy, you will not fear for 100 battles. But here, Americans do not understand your number one enemy in the world, which is the Chinese Communist Party. That is why it's so valuable for all those information that's shared by Miles Guo and shared by the whistleblower movement and shared by the new federal state of China, and of course shared by me today with you. So you have to understand this insidious evilness of the CCP. So
Yes, I forgot to show you this. Look at this, guys. Michigan and China. Speaking of South America, is a photo of Li Zhen. Oh, and look at that. There's Mr. Chuck Thelen. And this, again, was in Argentina last summer. So,
So they went into more foreign companies in China in 1993. And by 2016, I think there is a Wall Street Journal, they report, or maybe Bloomberg, if I can't remember, they reported a number in the 5 years from 2013 to 2018, there's over 106,000 units, the CCP party cell. Okay, so think about 1993 to now. It's 30 years. If they're going to do any damage, they're probably already done. Done so. That's how they took over the hunting firm. When those KPMG has their office in China, they all have the CCP party cell. They multiply and using BGY, they take over those key individual. So now today they're still lying for the CCP, and who they're lying to? They're no longer lying to the Chinese people because Chinese people's wealth has already been completely stolen by the CCP. Now they're lying to Americans. And sadly, American government is helping them because your government inside out has been infiltrated by the CCP. The audit firms are gone. They're no longer protecting your investors. They're no longer protecting you. But the PCAOB coming and announced a report and saying, we find significant deficiencies. But they added one sentence. The sentence blow out of my mind. They say, well, this is normal because this is very first time. We often find this situation in other firms when we first engage an audit. We also find significant deficiencies. So what does that mean? They're trying to normalize this illegal and criminal behavior. What does that mean? That means they're probably going to, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to still try and wiggle their way through this. Because they're moneying it, they're going to still lie to the investors. But how long the lie can stand for, I don't know. Look at your banking industry. Look at your economy. How long can the government lie and helping the CCP to rob the people's wealth. And a lot of those governments people who are lying, and the DOJ and FBI who's working today, they are used for idiots. As I said, virus vaccine did not differentiate you, and all of this was plotted by CCP. They're actually killing you. So the sooner you know who is your enemy, the sooner you will actually turn back and reevaluate what you've done to your own people, and you've done to the Chinese people who has been slaved for so long. So that is why we say they have a united front work strategy she refers to as a magic weapon. We should be united, whether you're black, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, or brown, whatever color it is. We should unite it together to counter their united front work strategy.
Yes,
I got to ask
exactly.
you, and then because we've covered a lot of ground today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. This has been, I think, a really a
Enlightening.
fascinating look into every bit of what people may sense is going on, but they don't know, or
Mhm.
they don't have the full in depth knowledge of. And you've done a great job at unveiling some of that.
Yes, she
So
did.
we talked a lot about this, and I have a sense that we've been at war for a long time, whether or not the American people realize it or not, and whether or not people throughout the world realize what's happening. In
Mhm.
fact, I have a friend who well, I won't say too much, but I know somebody who was involved in the last administration, involved in trade, and from everything that I've heard, was they were very close to being able to take down the Chinese Communist Party at one point. I guess in like 2019, economically, complete collapse was very close. At least that's what I had heard. And then magically,
Hmm.
Mhm.
the timing of COVID and everything kind of hit the fan.
Mhm.
Um, and the world
Magically.
hasn't been the same since. So I want to ask you about that, the reality of where that was. But most importantly, I want to ask you about what we're really up against, what we're really fighting. And you talk about evil, and you talked a little bit about this.
Mhm.
Is this fight spiritual?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is for every individual, I would say this is a spiritual fight, because we're human beings. We're not perfect. We have flaws. And this is why we have to really reflect what you've done. I mean, we need God more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think, there's a song I really loved, I think by it's called God We Need You Now. I forgot the artist's name. But the lyrics speaks to me loudly. He said, we have been danced with the devil for too long.
Yeah.
It's fun, but I know we're gonna pay our dues, and I hope that the God will be here before we too far gone. That's the lyrics I can remember. That's exactly talk about this. This is a spiritual fight for every single being, a human being. And if you have been deceived by the CCP, if you have been feeding the lies by the mainstream media, which of course the CCP has control. Before a criminal wanted to commit a crime, they plan, because CCP has sorted a well planned out the whole thing. They already plan how they're going to attack. Once they attack, what they need to do. So they plan it all out. That's why before they commit the crime, they bribe the police, they bribe the media. They know if they can bribe the police, then when the police will turn a blind eye to the criminal inaction. If somebody happened to find out or whistleblower came out, they bribe the media. The media can destroy them and can silence them. They bribe the big tech. So they has already planned this out ahead of time. Okay. And then when they actually really committing it, so he can get away with it. And Miles School in 2020-21, he has warned the world in June. He said the CCP has already planned going to turn the entire world into a total state of war. The reason why they know they can only lie for that long. One day, if good people willing to stand up and fight, they know their days are numbered. So they even actually plan their exiting strategy. And their exiting strategy is to turning this whole world into a state of war. He warned us in June 2021. He said, when the world is about to get to the close, about to find out the truth about the COVID-19, the origin of the COVID-19. Okay. And when the Chinese economy is completely collapsed, okay, the Chinese is going to rebel and uprising, then he is going to attack, he is going to do one of the two things, or both. One is continue release the virus, a new virus, because Miles Guo told us there is thousands of streams of coronavirus in their fridge in the P4 lab. And he also shared if the Americans really wanted to get down to the bottom of this COVID-19, they don't have to look too far. They only have to investigating Dr. Fauci and his relationship with another Chinese doctor called Wang Yanyi, their sexual relationship and their financial relationship. Then you will know everything about how this gain of function turning into a people killing a pandemic that we just witnessed in the past 3 years. So, and then he mentioned the warning is one is releasing another new virus, another new strains of the coronavirus, or attack Taiwan, kinetic war. So, because the CCP know in order to so how the war ends. If you look at the history, all the war ends not by completely defeating the enemy or completely killing every single soldiers on the enemy side. The war ends only in negotiation, sit down, talking meetings, right? And you exchange, your chips. I get this, you get this. I admit this, you admit this. This is all kind of a negotiation and political dealings. So CCP plan to do that. Okay, so they know that the only chance for them to winning this is to actually bring the whole world down. That's their agenda. Okay, so they're planned. So in that video that Miles Gore reviewed this, he told us 4 weeks prior to June 20th in 2021, the CIA starting sending their intelligence workers, more than 1,000 of them, starting enumerate and counting and identify those American citizens and other citizens from the free world, okay, from Europe, from Japan. They actually start tapping them and surveillance, starting survey their computers and cell phones. They're tracking their communications, their movements. So as soon as the war coming, these people are going to be leveraged, be human pawns for the CCP to negotiate with the free world, the governments of the free world. And guess what? This morning there is a news. I'm not sure whether you actually get to read that news. The Chinese Communist Party has basically arrested one of the American citizen, accusing him conducting espionage activities, and they just sentenced him to life imprisonment. So that was a news that breaking out this morning. And guess what? That person in that news, I think it was NBC or something. If you search Google, you will find it right away. This morning, actually 5:34 a.m., the news broke out. And that person, if you look closely, that person is actually used to work within the United Front strategy that I just shared with you. He was a recruit. Okay. He grew up in China, in Hong Kong, and then he was sent over, studied abroad, overseas. And then later on, he recruited by the CCP, working as espionage, as a Chinese spy to destroy the free world. But now at age 78, he was accused by the CCP becoming espionage for United States. So this tells you there's something is really, really, you can interpret it as a twofold. One is really bad, right? Because it's a U.S. citizen that they right now retaliated the United States, because in the past a couple weeks, United States government has been arresting Chinese spies. So the Chinese government is retaliating you. That's one fold. But the second fold is the people who actually used to work for the CCP now realizing they're doing the bad thing. So they want to helping the news. That's a very encouraging thought. I want to hoping to see more of those things, because these are true whistleblowers. These are true whistleblowers, Justin. So, and as you recall, in the Sunday show, the James Cole that interviewed by Maria on Fox News, he mentioned about the whistleblower that came forward, provided those information to the committee, has gone missing. Do you recall that? Have you heard that on the news? Okay, so he basically, James Comer mentioned, all those whistleblowers had three outcomes. One is they're in court. The second, they're in jail. The third, they're missing. Okay, so this person, exactly the news that I just shared, this person is actually a whistleblower. He helped the CCP. Now he's no longer willing to help the CCP, but now he paid a price. That's why he's in jail. He's in court and now he's in jail. Okay, so this is the reality, and this is bring back to Miles Guo. Miles Guo is the enemy number one of the CCP because he has been telling the world nothing but the truth to save American lives, to save people around the world. But he has been arrested by FBI and DOJ and SEC on a bogus allegation on
Hmm.
March 15th, 2023. And right now he has been detained almost today is actually 2 months, more than 2 months, because today is May 16th already. And we have been fighting to get him out on bail. But your system, your compromised DOJ, has the prosecuting team from the Southern District of New York argue against his bail. Okay,
Wow.
and he's not a criminal. This is completely false allegation. But on the other hand, the prosecutor, letting the real Chinese Communist Party spy who was arrested just last week in Boston, you know, and they let him out on bail for 25,000 US dollars
Wow.
on May 11th. But they kept this hero, Miles Guo, in jail for already 2 months, denying bail. And because the
So she's saying what we already know is that there are a lot of DOJs and DAs and our government that they're against American values, against freedom and the Constitution. And they are helping the CCP imprison whistleblowers. And again, if Edward Snowden, most people thought he was a traitor. I couldn't believe it, but he was a hero telling us about the NSA, and he had to flee to Russia. So, and then the WikiLeaks founder, and I'm blanking right now on his name. Drop it in the chat if you know it. Well, I don't know why I'm blanking, but the fact that he was not pardoned even by Trump, that's why. Why wasn't he pardoned? Because they don't want the truth getting out.
prosecutor want him to prepare for his trial in jail. And then they pushed this trial back to 2024 and Q2, second quarter of 2024. So you name it. So an innocent man right now is sitting in detention, and which he could be released and continuing whistleblowing and saving American lives and saving America. So this is where we wanted to let everybody know that if you can help us to free Miles Guo, please, using the hashtag. We have a movement, a social
Julian
media
Assange.
campaign.
Thank you,
It's
Kelly.
a hashtag free
Exactly.
Miles Guo. It's MILESGUO. So free Miles Guo. Please help us and using that hashtag everywhere if you're active on social media. And also, if you can write, email, call your congressional leaders in your district, please do so. Please make your voice heard. Ask them, demand them to release Miles Guo. As I said, he is said in other shows, he is the number one asset of America to actually free you from the Chinese Communist Party.
I want to ask before we let you go, because I know folks are going to want to stay in touch. Ava, what's the best way for people to reach out and get in touch with you? I know you mentioned Twitter earlier. What are the best ways for folks to stay in touch with you?
Yes, Getter. So Getter, you can both on Getter and Twitter, my two handles are the same. They're identical. So they're S7GRIL. So S7 Grill. And also, I suggest you to follow our website. It's a website of the new federal state of China. We have one-stop shop information, always updated. You can find more about Miles Guo's case because right now we.
All right, so definitely if you have Twitter, I know a lot of you probably don't and you're smarter for it because it is a shithole, I'm not gonna lie. But if you have Twitter, you might want to follow her because she seems to know what's going on, and I appreciate her trying to tell Americans, to warn us of what's going on. And that includes what's going on with Gotion. That doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter how they try to get around it, okay? Gotion has links to the CCP. It has links to Chinese businessmen, and all business in China related to China is owned by the Chinese government. It's how communism works. The other thing I wanted to say is that this is absolutely a spiritual battle, And the only way that we can change the world is by changing ourselves. That's it. And so the book I want to recommend, this one is called Live Not by Lies. Let me go switch over to just me. Live Not by Lies. Now it says it's a manual for Christian dissidents. Hello. Dissidents. By Rod Dreher. I read this book. It's very quick and easy. It is titled as such because Solzehenitsyn, who wrote the Gulag Archipelago, he said that that is how you defeat communism. You must live not by lies. And it's just little lies too. Like, that's how it starts. It's how it builds, is little lies to yourself. You put a sign in your door or in your business that you don't believe in, but you want to just get along, right? You just want to keep doing business. You just wear the mask or what have you. You just get the jab even though you should never be forced to do anything, especially by the government. It's so evil. So, again, the only way to change the world is to change yourself. And so try every day, or do or do not. There is no try, according to Yoda. Don't lie. Live not by lies. If you don't believe in something, don't say that you do just to get by. Again, I would recommend this book. I don't know if I'm a Christian or not. I don't know if Jesus actually lived as a man, so I can't call myself a Christian, but that doesn't mean that Christianity doesn't have values that are extremely important, and I don't have anything against Christianity. That's all I wanted to say about that. And I read this when I definitely did not call myself a Christian. You don't need to be a Christian to read it, is all I'm trying to say. It has extremely valuable information on how to survive communism and how to get out of it. And another big thing is making parallel institutions. So I don't know if we can fix captured institutions. I think that might be you're playing in their game, and I think it's best to not play their game at all and to make our own new game, because they made the rules and they're all corrupt and they know the manual backward and forward, and so we're at a disadvantage if we play at their game. But if we play at our own, if we make our own parallel institutions and those that are based in truth and love and light, then that's how we defeat this evil that we are facing. And it is unfortunate that so many young people have no idea how many people communism has killed and why. It sounds like such a beautiful idea, right? That the people own everything, right? There's no individuals that are billionaires, but in practice, time and again, it doesn't work because there's no way for the people to own it. It just centralizes power, and centralized power is easily corrupted. So I am done with my little rant, if you want to call it that. I will leave a link in the description for all of the books that I talked about, and of course all of these links. Sorry, I'm trying to get over to the chat. I'll leave everything in the description down below. I'm going to try to get my Nuevo video out tomorrow about the Nuevo Recycling Center, but in case you didn't know, there is not going to be any pyrolysis at that facility. It's going to stay a mechanical recycling center, and so we don't have to worry about 500 tons of trash coming in on rails. I'll have all the details for you, hopefully tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely Wednesday. So check out that video, or look out for that video. And thank you guys for watching. And again, you want to change the world? Change yourself. Live not by lies. Thank you guys, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow at that rally. Have a good day.